Hi guys, it's me, Rebecca, and I am here today to talk to you about some health things I've had going on and to just talk about endoscopies and colonoscopies. So if you don't know what those are, or you don't really want to hear about bowel movements or that kind of stuff, then this probably isn't the video for you. But if you're looking for like what happens, how to prep for it, what to expect, I've had several of both of them. And so I thought this might be a good time to just do a little video while it's fresh on my mind, since I just had them yesterday, and let you know kind of what to expect and not to be afraid of them. So the first time I had a colonoscopy was probably, I don't know, about 6 years ago, and I really had no idea what to expect. I went to a facility in Columbus, and my mother-in-law was driving me there. She took me there and picked me up. So when you have a colonoscopy or an endoscopy or both, you need to make sure that you have a driver with you, because you do go under. And so they don't want you, driving, because you're kind of impaired after you leave there. So my mother-in-law came with me, and they took me back. They called me back to the procedure, or to get ready. And they put me on this, the stretcher, the roller bed. They get your IV ready. They take your money, and of course they get your money as soon as you go back there. So they take your money, they go through the allergies, they tell you what's going to happen. And as I'm laying there, I'm hearing all of these people like passing gas really loud. So there's just beds and beds and beds of people separated by curtains in this first place that I went to. And I just thought, oh my gosh, my mother-in-law is going to come back here and I'm going to be like farting in front of my mother-in-law. So I was more traumatized probably by that than I actually was by the procedure. But it turned out it ended up being fine. I didn't have to worry about that. Well, if I did, she didn't tell me about it. So I guess we're good on that side. But she's also a nurse, so I'm sure she's heard it all before. But it still freaked me out nonetheless. We'd only been married a couple years, and now it wouldn't bother me at all. But back then I was a little bit more self-conscious. And so yesterday when I had it done, I kind of knew what to expect. So when you have an endoscopy or colonoscopy, basically they stick little cameras down your throat and up your butt, basically, to see what's going on. So I have been having these sharp pains around my belly button, and they're trying to figure out why I'm having them, what's causing them. And I do have a history of severe acid reflux, GERD, Barrett's esophagus, irritable bowel syndrome, kind of a whole gamut of issues going on down there. So for me, it was important to make sure it wasn't one of those things, or a new thing that had popped up causing these stomach issues. If you watched one of my recent videos, you saw that I was at the emergency room on the 4th of July because I thought I had appendicitis. So I'm still in the process of kind of figuring out what's going on here. Several of you have mentioned to getting my gallbladder checked, so that's definitely on my list to do. But for this video's purposes, I just want to talk about the colonoscopy and endoscopy. So they go in through your mouth. They basically go up your butt. They take biopsies. They look at everything. They send a little camera in there. And so here is what happened yesterday. Or actually, let's start with the prep. So the prep for an endoscopy, and this is all dependent on your doctor. So obviously, do whatever your doctor tells you. I'm just going to give you a brief synopsis of what my doctor had me do, so you get an idea. But do whatever they tell you to do in the time frame they tell you to do it, so that you have a really clean system for them to look at and to get good biopsies, because that's really important to have a really clean, good, emptied out system so they can see all the nooks and crannies and get a good perspective of what's going on inside of you. So you drink this. For an endoscopy, you just have to not drink or eat anything for a certain amount of time. And then for a colonoscopy, you have to drink this like laxative stuff. And I thought I brought the box in here. Anyway, mine was called like a soup prep or something. There's 2 bottles and I had to drink one at 4 p.m. and one at 9 p.m. And basically you're gonna wanna make sure you stay near a bathroom for that entire time and until you leave in the morning. This is gonna be kind of gross, but when you get to the very end of the prep, it almost, it's just like a clear, like a yellowy clear liquid that's coming out. That's how you know that you've like really cleaned out your colon and your intestines for your colonoscopy. So you wanna make sure, you know, you're not eating anything, you're not having any candy or gum or anything like that. It's supposed to be clear fluids. And this stuff tastes like a rancid yellow lime Gatorade. It's really gross. It has a gross aftertaste. I found that if you drink it really cold and you plug your nose and you chug it, it goes down a lot faster. I have found that I have to spread it out over a little while. I can't chug the whole thing. It just makes me really nauseous and gives me a stomach ache. So I basically drink a little bit, wait a minute, drink a little bit, and then I use Gatorade, or not Gatorade, ginger ale as a chaser. So I would drink some, plug my nose, chug a little bit of the glass, and then I would drink some ginger ale, and then I would chug more and then drink ginger ale. So basically yesterday, on Monday, my entire day I had ginger ale and water. That's basically what I drank all day. Clear liquids, no food, nothing. And so I really wanted to make sure that, like I said, I was giving them the best intestines I could for this procedure, so I don't have to keep having it done, and I didn't want to come back for another one. So my procedure wasn't until, I don't know, noon, I would say, yesterday, and I didn't have to be there till 11, so I was starving and I was dehydrated by the time we got there. And unfortunately for me, it triggered a migraine, which I couldn't take my medicine for because they don't want anything in your stomach. And so when we got there, we signed the paperwork, and I just had to wait. So you wait your turn, they call you back. And this place that I went to was a outpatient facility next to my doctor's office. So we weren't at a hospital, we were just at this kind of outpatient area. It was very nice. It was small, much smaller than the first place I had done. It was much more relaxed. It wasn't as intense. There wasn't as many people moving out, in and out, and I was the last one of the day. And so I definitely felt like a much calmer vibe in there. So they sit you down, they insert your IV, and I have the worst veins. My veins just don't respond well. They're very small. It's hard to start an IV. But the nurse was awesome. He got it right in here with no problems. Usually these veins collapse when they try to stick them. I don't know if they're not sticking them properly or what, but you know, for me, it was important. I get like real stressed out and real anxious about IVs because because I get situations like this, where if you saw what that looked like before, it was a huge black thing, where, you know, they had not done it properly. So once they started the IV, you get like liquid fluid. So they try to hydrate you back up since you haven't had any fluids. And I didn't have anything to eat or drink since 10 o'clock the night before my procedure. That makes your veins even worse. So if you have hard veins to stick, I've had nurses in the past suggest that you run your wrists under warm water, and that will kind of poof them up a little bit, even if you're dehydrated. So I didn't get a chance to do that. But he did a great job anyway. So they give you they get you all hydrated back up with an IV bag, and then this location, instead of wheeling you back and doing everything on the first, like the stretcher that I was on at the other place, you walk back into the procedure room and you get on the table. If you have a colonoscopy, you lay on your left side. They put a pillow under your head, and the anesthesiologist hooks you up to all the machines. They put a blood pressure cuff on. They put your oxygen finger on, and you know, the doctor comes in, he talks to you for a few minutes, asks you if you have any questions, and then it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, lights out. So that's a colonoscopy. For an endoscopy, you go in and you lay on your side also. Well, I did yesterday, but they put looks kind of like a ball gag, but it's actually got a hole in it in your mouth, and they strap it around your head, and that's so it's like a bite guard, so they can keep your mouth open when the camera and the thing go down into your throat. So I had that. They did that first, and then they did the colonoscopy after that. So when you are in there, they put you to sleep, and I don't remember anything. All I remember is them saying count backwards. And by the time I got to 7, that's the last that I remember. They do the procedure, and then you wake up in the recovery room, and it's not like other big surgeries I've had where it takes a really long time to wake up. So in the past, when I had my hysterectomy, or I had my kidney fixed when it was failing, my ureter reimplanted, or laparoscopies, it wasn't as awful waking up as it was this time. If you feel like you get nauseous very easily, or you've been nauseous before with anesthesia or procedure, make sure you tell them so they can give you Phenergan or Zofran or whatever nausea medication they have on hand. It will really help you in your recovery. So they tell you, someone has to be there to pick you up. They bring you out a document, and it basically has pictures of your esophagus, your stomach, your colon, whatever you had pictures of. They bring you just a baseline summary. They give you, any concerns that they have, anything that they want you to watch. And then usually they send out biopsies, and it takes a couple weeks to get those back. So you're usually in and out of there in a couple hours. They want you there an hour before so they can get you ready, get that IV hooked up, get the liquid pumping through you. The procedures don't take very long at all. I had both done, and I think I was in and out of there in an hour. And then the recovery takes about an hour. By the time you wake up, get something to drink, something to eat, the doctor comes through, and that kind of stuff. They rolled me out to the car, and Aaron drove me home. So when I got home, I know my body really well. I have had several procedures where I've had anesthesia. They always say, oh, you can go back to work the next day. I just know that I'm going to struggle with it a little bit more than someone else. So today I really planned to kind of be out of commission, just relaxing today. But it ended up that at about noon, I felt a lot better. And, I'm filming this video now. I actually put some mascara on. And so, I'm feeling pretty good today. I will say that for my colonoscopy, I really haven't had any issues. Sometimes after the fact, you have a hard time like getting regular again, going to the bathroom. And so you just need to watch that. If you start to get constipated, have some prunes, or, some of the, what is it called? Magnesium caltrate or something. It comes in a little glass jar, and it will kind of help just get you started if you have problems with that. Now for the endoscopy, I've had some more issues with that, and a little bit of pain in my chest, like right here in my esophagus. I think primarily that's because they took a bunch of biopsies there. Since I do have Barrett's esophagus, they do take biopsies here, and it just hurts when I swallow, and I have like a general aching feeling in my esophagus. So I haven't had any real major side effects of either procedure. I'm feeling pretty good today. I did sleep most of the day yesterday, and then, overnight, just trying to rest my body as much as I can. Don't forget, your body's going through like a procedure. I know it's not a surgery, but they're going in, they're kind of poking and prodding at your insides. And if it takes you a day or two to get back to normal, or 3 or 4, that's okay. I mean, I think the biggest thing is that, you're not having bleeding, you're not vomiting, you're not bleeding, out of your rectum, or when you go to the restroom, or you're having severe pain or severe cramping. You want to watch out for those things, and all the other things, obviously, your doctor is telling you about. But I've seen a lot of posts when I was doing my research about people being afraid or being scared to get them. Maybe they've never had a surgery, or they've never been put to sleep, and it really just feels like a nap. You wake up in the recovery room, and you kind of wake up pretty quickly. So, don't be afraid of a colonoscopy. Don't be afraid of an endoscopy. I think they're fairly common procedures. I'm obviously not a doctor, but I have had them several times. So I just wanted to share my experience with you and hopefully ease some of your concerns if you're having one and you're feeling kind of nervous about it, or you're not sure what to expect. And hopefully I can, like I said, ease your mind a little bit, make you feel a little bit better about it, and help you have a better procedure. Hopefully this video helps you. I have lots of videos about reselling and about chronic illnesses, invisible illnesses, autoimmune diseases, blah, 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 blah. And if you care to hear more, don't forget to subscribe. And if this video helped you out, don't forget, give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time. Bye.